Welcome to Dynamite Delight. If I seem to have the sniffles like this, I'm still sick. Nothing bad. Sneezing and coughing, that's all I got. Mucus, clogged ears. This weather is ridiculous in New York. But that's not what you're caring about. You're caring about Dynamite Delight. And what do we get for Dynamite Delight? Disappointment in some cases, good matches in others, interest going into full gear. And I can't tell you not to see this episode of Dynamite Delight because there's a lot of good stuff in here, but there are some disappointing things. First, 8-man tag. We get the Gun Club and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, the Mr. Swerve. I don't like calling him Swerve, I'd rather call him Strickland, because he hasn't given me a reason to care about him being Swerve. I will give it to him. The last match that he had, that he put someone over, I was cool with. He did a good job. Then you see FTR with the Acclaimed. Guys, you wonder when this situation is going to end with the Acclaim dealing with FTR. Now, of course, they still got to go for Swerve Strickland and for Keith Lee. But they're going to have to that's got to get done. It's been long overdue. It's got to happen. Now, before the match happens, Daddy Ayas comes out to try and break a little bit of Swerve Strickland's face. But he got sent back by one of the trainers in back. I can't remember who it was. But it's understandable. He can't just be there. Was it a good match? It was a high tense match. It was a fast paced match. I won't tell you it was bad. But as I said before, I don't like 6, 8, and 10-man tags. I don't normally like them. And AEW was notorious for doing that heavily. But lately, it hasn't been that prevalent. So, it wasn't that bad. I'm still not fond of them. But it doesn't mean they did them heavily in the last couple of months, easily. They've been doing the 6-man, but not the 8 or 10. In the end, the faces went out. But the question is, when is FTR going to finally deal with the Acclaim? Of course, it's got to happen by Winter is Coming, or a little bit afterward. That's when, but they need to do it. Next, the first in the AEW tournament to see who's going to be, and I had to remember it because I had actually forgotten it. I had been working on stuff, so I've been forgetting. Guys, if you care about trying to do something other than something you've been passionate about, trying to juggle them can be very frustrating, particularly if there's things going in the background that's kind of delaying things. I've made videos for my other channel, but I haven't uploaded them. It's frustrating that I need to make enough videos to put on the channel so it won't stop every couple of months. I can do maybe 3 or 4 videos, maybe 5, but then I have to stop for a couple of months because I don't always have the time to do it. And I get frustrated, so it's kind of hard to balance it out. So when this came up for the tournament to see who's going to be next #1 contender that's going to be facing after MJF and Moxley, I went, oh damn, I forgot all about that. And this is the first match of it, and this was very disappointing. It's not the match quality that's disappointing, it's the participants that's disappointing. You got the Ethan Page, which I'm glad they're doing something with. Finally, they're doing something. And I'm glad. But the person they missed the boat on, that they had him so freaking red hot, they did nothing with. Nothing with him. And that's before he got suspended. I am talking about Eddie Kingston. Eddie was so hot when he dealt with CM Punk. He was so hot when he dealt with a Chris Jericho. Why in the blue fuck did they never go anywhere with him? They let him have great matches, but then do nothing with him. He could have gone after the TNT title and won it. And as much as I'm glad that Pac won the damn All-Atlantic Championship, I would have liked to see him go after that damn title. If he couldn't go after the TNT All-Atlantic, why couldn't he hold it? Now, I wouldn't have liked to see Pac drop the damn thing. He just got it. But literally, he was red hot. He was so over. And they done nothing with him. And then he had the incident with Sammy, which we know that Sammy's a problem child. We know he's an issue. He may not cause people to cause a huge mess, But we know there have been issues with Sammy. We know. So clearly, they missed the boat with Eddie. And that pisses me off beyond no end. And it's a wasted opportunity. They could have done something with Eddie and made him go into title contention before Powerhouse Hobbs. Well before we had a Orange Cassidy get the damn title. It could have been Eddie. I'm just saying. Now, let's go through some of these segments. Did I care about Rouge dealing with Dark Order? No. Don't care about it. Mostly due to the fact there is currently no Andrade El Idolo right now. He's still with his wife. Currently, and this is interesting, no Charlotte in WWE at all. She's been gone for how many months now? Maybe 5, 6, 7 months now? Good. When she comes back, she'll be interesting. But we get no Andrade. And we haven't been doing anything with Andrade. And that's upsetting. So Rouge has been on his own, and he's not really getting much. So I don't really care. When it came to the podcast of MJF, because I'm doing Moxley next, that was a good recording he did. Being at the most #1 podcast for wrestling, and I believe that is the, no, it can't be that one, is it? I don't remember who it is, because I don't watch those podcasts. Guys, I don't have the time to watch them, and I tend to forget. It could be Busted Open Radio. I believe it is, but I tend to forget. But him being there, if it was real, was good. Explaining how great of a generational talent he is, putting over Moxley, making sure that people understood how important this is. I can tell you that that is one of the best segments I've seen in MJF in a bit, without a crowd and without any extra stimulus other than himself. He knows how to do it. Now we do Moxley. I like this segment from Moxley. Only thing I didn't like of Moxley is that when he talks, he tends to walk all over the ring. Very unfocused. And I get worried that he's going to step on someone one day. Look, he was walking around so much, he looked like he almost did step on William Regal's foot. Lord Regal doesn't deserve to get his foot stomped on, because you can't stay still while you do your segment. Sometimes it's important to stay in one place. You don't see me walking around like this. And understand, for me personally, as a guy who is disabled, staying in one place, having to put a lot of weight on one side of my body, it hurts. But you don't see me going like this to try and stop it all the time. With Moxley, he always does that, but that is his style. I just hope he doesn't step on anybody and make himself look like a bitch and an idiot. But was his segment good? Yes. He made it very clear that he explained what he was, how he met William Regal, and that he learned very quickly, full of piss and vinegar, that he wanted to be just like William Regal. He went up to William Regal, pissed him off, got into a match and got his ass handed to him, and learned what he needed to learn to impress Regal enough to finally do another match years later, then beat William Regal, and then William said, pretty much, now the real work begins. In other words, he's willing to teach him what he's already gotten and go well beyond it. And he made it very clear about MJF. He made it clear that MJF is him when he was younger. And he had his one shot before and got his ass whooped by Moxley. Now he's coming around again, and he's wondering what's different. But he made it very clear. You say you're the devil, and he brought this up. You say you're the devil, and almost forgot. MJF brought up the scrum during his podcast interview. I liked that part. I did, because they needed to bring it up, but they didn't mention CM Punk or the Bucks or Kenny Omega, but he did mention it, which needed to be done, because there's no way you can't bring it up sooner or later. But when it comes to Moxley, he made it very clear. You're the devil. You're not a devil. I've been around people. I have been to places and done things that you have never done. You don't know what the devil is. I have seen people who truly are, and you ain't it. But I'm going to teach you a lesson. You are the next generational talent. And as it basically was saying, just like I had to learn from William, you're going to learn from me. You will learn how to become what needs to become, to hold the potential to hold this damn title one day. But you're going to learn it ain't down. I like that. It wasn't those words, but you get my point. If you saw the segment, that is what he was trying to relay. He is now the top dog, quote unquote. He sees MJF exactly like him, and he's willing to acknowledge him. But he ain't the devil. He's been near the devil. He's faced the devil, or devils, because let's be honest, the final devil he ever faced was his alcoholism, which he has been worked on, and he managed to conquer as long as he stays clean, which I think he will. He seems to be that type of person that once he knows something, he don't like to repeat it more than once. So seeing this segment was good. I loved it. But it wasn't the love of the night. The best segment I think I've heard in months from AEW or WWE or NWA. And I admit I have not seen NWA in months because of certain things that's been going on lately. Or anywhere was Saraya and Britt Baker. We had that later in the day. We had Britt Baker trying to put herself over, making it very clear that you, Saraya, coming into my house, you didn't lay not one damn brick. You want to take what I built myself, which honestly, she didn't build very well. She worked at it and then began to build. Because when she first started, she was not good at all. I agree with Jesse from JD and Jesse's show and off the script. She was not ready to take the position that she took. She had to work her ass off to get that far. Now she's earned it. But let's be honest. When you heard Britt Baker's line compared to Saraya's line, she was basically decimated. Because you could see the look in her face as she heard Saraya literally pour her heart out to the crowd and to her. And that was real talk, guys. Saraya literally let everyone know exactly what she did. She got hurt, hit by a car back in Europe before she went to WWE and still wrestled. That's happened with wrestlers. They get hurt, they'll still go. She told the truth. She broke her neck. Of course, we know. She had her her drug addiction public. The most embarrassing thing for millions of people to do. The only thing she didn't say was how she got fucked by Alberto Del Rio as well as Xavier Woods. And if you don't know what that means, I'll tell you this. I heard the rumors of her being naughty with Alberto. I've seen it. Yeah, I did. I heard that she was naughty by herself, doing something on a phone. I've seen it. Yes, I have. And I heard that she did something very naughty with, I forgot the guy's name, Max. What was his name? He was part of WWE one point, Max. But if you've heard the rumors about, I forgot his name. Max something and Xavier Woods, I've seen it. And it is Xavier Woods, that naughty little bastard, who is a nerd, screwing her and pretty much having it recorded. It was him. I could see his shape. The only thing I didn't see was his wiener. Thank goodness for that. Don't need to see it, but you know it's him. The only thing she didn't mention was that. She mentioned that she had all her business basically laid out for everyone to see. And she was so embarrassed, so ashamed, but she still loves his business. I've given everything for this business, she said. And she has. And she straightened her ass out. Before the age of 30. Guys, this is what you need to understand. This girl literally was born into wrestling. Her mother was pregnant and then had to stop before she gave birth. She's been around wrestling all her life. And she's done all the stuff she did and did everything well before Britt did in 3 years, what she's done since 2012 in WWE. Because this is what this is all about. It isn't about her life before 2012. It is from 2012 here. That is what she's been doing. She was 20 when she appeared on, what was it, Raw or SmackDown? I think SmackDown first. She was 20, 19, about to turn 20, I believe, when she appeared on SmackDown. And look what she's done. She made people care about herself. This was a great segment. I adored this segment. Look, I'm not going to say I don't think Paige ain't beautiful. She is. She ain't. And these are fake. I don't care. I'm the type of person that if you want me, you love me, we do something, you're the most beautiful woman I got. I don't care if you got the smallest boobs, the biggest butt, the smallest butt. I don't care. You it. And I loved it. But I found her more attractive because she literally laid it all out, who she was. And that's something you don't normally get. And here it was important that it needed to be done if you really want her to be something in AEW, because as I've said before, I do not believe she's going to make a difference in the women's division, because this is still on Tony to book it properly, and he's not been booking the women correctly. Look, we had a match. Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue. Great. How long has it been since we've seen Sky Blue on Dynamite? Quite a while. And then, even though we see Sky Blue, have we done anything with her on Sky Blue on Dynamite or Rampage? A storyline? No. We saw the baddies in the segment with their Jade Cargill. Did we get anything from Erla Grey? I believe that's her name. I keep forgetting her name because I don't really care. Because I don't care about the baddies other than the Akira Hogan. I love that woman because I know she busted her butt in Impact Wrestling. I know she can do it, but they've done nothing with her. Nothing. As I said, all about Jade. Nothing about her, about the ones that are with her. They've done absolutely nothing. They're just afterthoughts. And it's so sad that it should be on the main show, not Elevation, not Dark. It should be on the A show, Dynamite, or the B show, Rampage, and it's not. Let's move on. Now, we got Wardlow versus Daivari's younger brother. And I didn't really care about that match because it really didn't mean anything. He was annihilated. He was. Even though he did offer his butler, he was destroyed. This was about Powerhouse Hobbs. And I knew this was going to be about Hobbs, but I also knew that I felt that Joe was going to do something. I thought that he was going to confront him about how he pissed him off. Because last week, you got Samoa Joe kind of pissed off because Wardlow kind of disrespected him. So I expected him to grab him and face him face to face. Didn't get that. We got Powerhouse Hop called out by Wardlow, and he said, "You finally come out here, you damn bitch." Not in those words, but I'm saying that's what he kind of implied. "You damn bitch. Now you're facing me face to face. You're going to have your shot against me. It's coming. But you ain't getting this damn title. You ain't nothing. I'm going after every title in AEW." And the minute he said that, you got Samoa Joe grabbing his TV title, whack to the back of the back, and then basically puts him to sleep. Done. Now, I knew eventually Wardlow was going to go up against Samoa Joe. I knew it. But I expected Samoa Joe to face him face to face before he was going to do it. Nope. He whooped his ass the way Joe whoops ass. You piss off Joe, Joe will kick your ass and then put your ass to sleep. Because Joe will kill you. That is Joe that I know. Now, was it a good segment? Yes. I didn't care about Alan Daivari. I believe it's Alan Daivari. I keep forgetting his first name. But Daivari's younger brother was just an afterthought. This was the main course, and that was good. Now, Jay Lethal look, you're going to get Orange Cassidy, I believe, on this Rampage against pretty much Lee Johnson just came back. But instead of being with Art Anderson, he's currently with the Factory. So he's turned heel. Now we got a little bit of Orange Cassidy getting a match against him for the All Atlantic. That's okay. But then afterward, there was a weird transition because they were all together talking because you got Duff paying off a QT Marshall because of what happened last week. He paid him off. Fine. But then you see this weird transition after the Orange Cassidy bit was done, and then you see Trent going up to them, and it just seemed awkward. And then we get the match in the ring, which at first you didn't get the match in the ring because you got basically Trent getting blasted in the knee by a Jay Lethal because he didn't take lightly being annoyed. And the match was fine. Match was over. And we got, and I'm not even talking about all the stuff in between, like Danhausen. Well, I got to talk about Danhausen getting blasted and destroyed by Satnam Singh. He did. He got blasted. But the point of this was about Double J, Jeff Jarrett. And I don't know about you guys. I am still waiting for the Sleg Daddy to say something. And he hasn't done anything on his channel for 2 weeks. Sometimes he goes away. He comes back for about a week, maybe 2, and then he's gone for almost 2 weeks to a month. I can understand if he's working, but this is Jeff Jarrett. Jell, whatever. I'm bad speller. I'm dyslexic, y'all. I can't spell right. I'm a very smart man, but I can't spell to save my life. But once Jeff tried to explain the reason why he was there and that he was ready to kill someone with his guitar, it's good to see they are using a talent the way they should. Jeff is a legend, whether you like him a lot. He does know the business in the back, which hopefully will help a Tony Khan to smooth out the situation he's dealing with because he's dealing with too much on his plate. He needs he really needs to make sure he gives specific jobs to specific people. And Jeff hopefully will help him, especially now that he's straightened his ass out and he's not an alcoholic anymore or drugs. It's good to see, whether you like Jeff or not. And I know that the Sleg Daddy hates Jeff Jarrett in the ring, but probably it's fine with him that he's been straightening his ass out. I'm just saying. Do I care about well, there's one thing I want to add to what happened with Sky Blue and Jamie Hayter. I really wish there was more going on for Jamie Hayter. I didn't say that earlier, but that's what I wanted to say. Because this is where I would have talked about Sky Blue and Jamie Hayter, but I already spoke about it. And I gotta say this. If you love Jamie Hayter, you better hope that a Tony Khan truly pushes her, because they need to do something with her. Because a lot of people that are just sitting doing nothing, and they should have already been progressed. I'm just saying. Finally, 2 out of 3 fall match for nothing. This is Sammy Guevara dealing with a Bryan Danielson who got busted in the eye and busted in the nose. And they tried to make it so clear that since he had a detached retina, 15 years ago, that it could be very irritated by the blood. Was this good? Yeah, I liked the match. I did. The blood did help. Isn't that they need to do it all the time, because they have done it a lot too much in most cases. But seeing that Bryan Danielson is going to have a match going against Chris Jericho, Claudio, Sammy, and himself, I can understand want to make him really tough. And then that makes me think, are they really going to throw the title on him when he should be going for the main title? Look, you know how the match ended. He won that match by submission. But this is I got to bring up. Let's be honest here. Which titles mean the most in AEW right now? Is it the AEW titles? Or is it the ROH titles? I don't know if anyone else has been talking about it. I think JD and Just Alex have been talking about it. But let's be honest here. They got two sets of titles that are being used on the same shows all the time. That's the same problem that WWE had before they did their brand split. And the problem here is there is no brand split because there's no brands other than Dynamite and Rampage. There is no ROH. And again, instead of trying to emphasize more about the AEW titles, the feuds and everything there, you got Tony making ROH mean something when it's debunked. He owns ROH, but he has not brought it back. He owns ROH, but it's not on YouTube. He owns ROH, and instead of combining the titles, calling the AEW ROH titles, or the AEW Pure title, or the AEW television title, he's not doing it. He's keeping two sets of titles, and it feels like they need to be two separate brands, and there is not. They don't turn Elevation into its own separate brand. They don't turn Dark into its own separate brand. That's supposed to be developmental. And they need an in-between brand. That's for the three, and there is nothing. And I feel that this is hurting AEW badly. They need to separate ROH so badly. And if he keeps wanting to get a television deal for ROH, if I heard one person said months ago that Infinity is still showing ROH material. And if they still have a contract with them and they cannot do anything until the contract is done, then it's understandable why he can't get a network. But if he can get a network, because Infinity is not the issue, but he hasn't found one, why not put it on YouTube? It's hurting the product. You cannot keep this up much longer. Many people I think many people are beginning to get confused. Who should they care about? Should they care about Wardlow? Or should they care about Joe, who's holding a fake mid-tier title when Wardlow is holding the main title? Unless they're going to combine the ROH and the TNT titles, what are we doing here? Are you going to let ROH be the more dominant of the two? Because if it's like that, why don't you just change AEW over to AEW/ROH? I'm just saying. I could be wrong. You guys give me your feelings. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.